Rhode Island came to the table at PEPNET 2 having a lot of transition services and coordinated efforts in place already. We have 4 regional transition centers in Rhode Island, and for the past 10 years we've participated in the National Secondary Transition Technical Assistance Centers Institute, where we use the same tools that we were using at PEPNET. And we decided to first identify students in the public schools who are deaf and hard of hearing, and then to bring together stakeholders in order to bring the information about transition to them from the top and from the bottom. And that was pretty much the two-prong, to identify the students and then to bring the stakeholders together to the process to do that.
We are lucky here in Rhode Island that we have regional transition advisory centers, and so the Office of Rehab person and myself have been able to access those centers. They are comprised by representatives from the public school. Each are required to be part of this transition advisory, and we have been able to go out and talk to them about the resources and what we are basically putting in place as part of our plan. And it's been really a wonderful experience, and we are reaching out to a lot of people.
In the beginning, our team felt like it would be easy to meet our goals directly. However, as we went through the process, we realized there were roadblocks. We could not access data, and we couldn't get information, making a direct path to the goal difficult. It's like I explained to my students. The process of transition happens in small steps. It is not an express route, but instead it meanders through phases, ultimately ending in success.
We try to view the barriers also as opportunities. So in working with the professionals and with making the presentations at the collaboratives and in reaching out to parents and colleagues, we have found that there's been great interest in serving the needs for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. There's been tremendous interest in training. Professionals would like to train. Professionals would like to have the tools necessary and at their disposal to reach out to the population of students. I'd have to say that here in Rhode Island, we've had difficulty identifying students who are hard of hearing in schools. Oftentimes these students don't have the resources available to them that they need. We've been able to bring all our efforts together, and we have a passion and a drive to increase and build the state's capacity in working with our children. We do have a wonderful team. We come from different disciplines, and in working together we've been able to identify the different resources, and we want to bring that resource into a central location.
One thing that worked for our team is that our plan is a nuts and bolts plan. We did not seek to reinvent the wheel. We decided to recognize and build upon what was already there and what people involved in transition were familiar with, instead of creating a new tool that we would need to teach and learn. What also worked for us is that we have such diverse team members with many areas of expertise to bring to the table. Our team has learned that within deaf schools in the state, you will naturally get the deaf perspective included. However, in public schools, the transition plan does not include this valuable piece of the picture. We think that in working collaboratively as a team on transition for students who are deaf or hard of hearing, we must include the deaf perspective in order to help that student succeed.
A message I would like to add to what the other states have said is that it is understandable that people see Rhode Island as a small state and think it must be easy to consider transition support services. But keep in mind that our challenges are much like other states. The students we work with are diverse. Often we focus our transition plans on those who are clearly going on to post-secondary education, those who have direct paths. We overlook those students who have other needs: mental health, developmental needs, language barriers, and so on. It is important that we don't forget about them, that we figure out the way to best support those students and help them on a successful transition.
If I could send a message to other states, I would tell them to spend the time, do their homework a little bit, take a step back from the project and the big picture, and take a look at who else is doing the work around them. One of the things that we discovered is that there were systems in place that were already really effective with transitional support services that may have not had the deaf and hard of hearing specialty or that lens. At the same time, we were able to identify those people who were doing the work with deaf and hard of hearing and did have that specialty, but didn't have the other piece in terms of what was being done with transitional support services. So getting all of those players, all of those stakeholders around the table was vital for our process. Also, it's important to recognize the small steps in this process because it's a big undertaking. And looking at something as small as, hey, why don't we put a link to an agency like the Rhode Island Commission for Deaf and Hard of Hearing to get them to the right place, to find those resources on transition, find the value in that success, and that's just going to kind of propel you to do more work down the road.